Hi, I'm Hazel, and today I wanted to show you profession specs on Alpha. This is a further and deeper level of specialization within your given profession that is new to Dragonflight, so I wanted to show you what we have so far on Alpha. So let's start with the basics. You still have a profession skill just like you always have. You will train Dragon Isle's Alchemy, and you can get up to 100 points in that. You'll learn most recipes by sort of points 50 out of 100, and then you're going to cap out at 100 points. The incentive to continue leveling your alchemy skill even after you've learned all of the recipes is because the more skill you have, the easier it is for you to make things at a higher quality. You're going to be able to see a graphic here that shows you what quality you're anticipated to make the item at, and the higher your crafting skill is relative to your difficulty is going to determine how good the thing is that you're going to make. Higher quality crafts are just better, so a higher quality file will give you more stats, for example. So that's pretty straightforward, but there is another profession progression path, which is specializations. You are going to unlock access to these once you have gotten to skill 25 with your chosen profession, and it's a tab that you have down here at the bottom of your profession window. These are reminiscent of artifact weapon paths, and if you remember the Underlight Angler Legion fishing rod artifact, it's a very similar idea, but it's more highly fleshed out this time. So, to progress here, you're going to need something called knowledge, which is specific to each profession. So your alchemy knowledge will be separate from your blacksmithing knowledge, etc. To gain knowledge, it is a little bit of a mystery here. For testing purposes on Alpha, we are able to just buy items that grant you knowledge for free, just so that we can test them out, and we're going to do that today. But in the actual live game, it's not 100% clear all of the different ways that you're going to be able to earn Dragonflight crafting knowledge. If you look in the Dragon Isle's inscription recipes, it appears that Dragon Isle scribes are able to make items that can grant knowledge for specific professions, and those recipes use artisan's metal, which is the same reagent we're going to need for recrafting things. We have heard a lot of talk that that reagent is limited and used for quite a few different purposes, so the anticipation is that it's valuable, and it looks like these recipes only give you a little bit of knowledge. There have been other screenshots floating around of larger knowledge dumps, but it's very unclear so far exactly how you're going to be gaining knowledge, but one way or another you're going to end up with some knowledge eventually, and then you get to decide what you want to do with it. So let's say that you got some alchemy knowledge. Your first choice is, do you want to specialize first, at least, into potion mastery, file mastery, or alchemical theory? Each of these is going to have a specific bonus that you unlock when you first gain the specialization. So theory gives you more inspiration when making all alchemy recipes, file mastery makes your files last longer, and potion mastery makes your non-combat potions last longer. So for argument's sake, let's say that we want to be a file master. We're going to learn this specialization. You will be able to choose other specializations later, but you will have a choice of what you're going to pick first, and assuming that it is a bit difficult to get knowledge, at least at first, this is going to be a vaguely important decision. So now you have this first trait here, which is file mastery, and you can put up to 30 of your knowledge points into it. As you continue to put points into it, you're going to gain extra crafting skill per point in that when you're crafting files. So I'll have an easier time making better files based on how many points I have here. And you're also going to be unlocking bonuses according to this ring on the right-hand side here. So you'll notice that as I continue putting points in, I'm filling up this bar that goes around a ring, and there's different bonuses that we unlock. So the bottom bonus makes the files last longer. That one we got just for putting 1 point in. And then as we continue to get more points, we're gaining more inspiration when making files. This is the one that's going to unlock access to these sub-specs. So this is the one that lets us progress further in the tree. This one gives you more materials back when you are reclaiming files. This is another sub-spec, and then you get some more resourcefulness over here. So you're filling up the meter to get more bonuses. Each of these traits has their own ring that you can fill up by sinking points into them. You can put up to 25 into file lore, up to 20 into file experimentation. So you're going to get a bonus upon unlocking each one, and then further bonuses for putting more points in them on top of the extra crafting skill per point. So I'm a file master right now. Let's say I've got 10 of 30 points. I can pick a subspec. Do I want to specialize specifically in frost files or air files, or would I prefer to go a more crafting-centric route where I just get more points when making files in general, and then better experimentation results or better multi-craft when making files? So let's say I wanted to go for batch production because I want to make tons and tons of them to sell. So first I need to unlock file lore. We're going to learn that. And now we've got a new tree to pull into. So we're putting points in here, we're filling up that ring, and then by the time you get to 10 points, you can then pick another one, or you can continue putting points into these first two to gain access to more of that first bonus, more crafting skill per point in that specialization. So we have a bonus 5 inspiration from here in the first trait. Our second trait has given us another 5 inspiration down here. I want to get to batch production, which I can now do because I have 10 points. We learned that I instantly get plus 60 multi-craft when making files, and as I fill up this point, I'm going to gain more multi-craft per point in the batch production specialization. So here we have 25% crafting speed because we have at least 5 points in. At 10 points, we're going to get another 60 multi-craft. And then at 15 points, we're going to get some extra crafting speed. So this is the one that you would want to go into if you just wanted to make lots of things and a lot of them, but you're not too worried about making them like the best that you can be. So you have 3 different panels of that for alchemy, so you can specialize in potions. Theory is more about general crafting. Each profession is going to have its different tabs of specializations. Blacksmithing actually has 4. If we look at the blacksmithing specializations, you can choose anvil mastery, which is sort of the more general crafting one. This is kind of general purpose. You're going to be putting in, here, let's grab some blacksmithing knowledge. Okay, so we have some blacksmithing knowledge. We could put it into anvil mastery, fill up and get more inspiration, more resourcefulness. Resourcefulness is a trait that gives you a chance to consume less materials when you're crafting something, to use less than the required number of mats. Specialty smithing is going to specialize in making non-martial goods, so tools and allies. So this is going to let you make your profession tools more better. Make your profession tools more good, do good job, good work, happy birthday. You could also go specifically into weaponsmithing or into armor smithing, and then within weaponsmithing and armor smithing, maybe you want to get really good at making gloves or bracers or belts. Maybe you want to specialize specifically, just like beeline it for sabatons, and then you're going to get really good at making plate boots, right? Like you can give yourself an awful lot of extra crafting skill points to be making the really high quality versions of a thing, assuming that you are dunking all of your knowledge to beeline for one specific thing in the tree. And then later on, you're going to be able to make more things better. But at least at first, this is going to be the thing that kind of distinguishes you from other blacksmiths, is which thing did you specialize in and how much competition is available on your server within a given item, right? Later on, and it's really unclear how much later on, but there's no reason why you cannot specialize in all of it. It's possible that by the end of the expansion, an accomplished blacksmith will have all knowledge in everything and can just make everything the very best. But this is going to provide a little extra flavor, especially early. So out of the box, you can make usable things even if you don't specialize in any of this. It's pretty easy to get your skill up to the point where you can craft basically all the recipes. So if you're not too fussed about making like the gold star version of it and you just want to have a thing, then you don't need to stress too much about this being too complicated or too demanding. But on the other hand, if you want to be the very best crafter and you want to carve your name in the annals of the file makers on your server, then it's going to take a longer journey to get there. I think that how this particular system is received is going to depend a lot on how tough it is to get knowledge and what kind of paths are we taking to get knowledge. Because if it's too easy to get knowledge, this entire thing is pointless. If it's too time-gated to get knowledge, then the folks that have a million alts are going to come out much stronger. If it requires too much instanced content to get knowledge that's done by the crafter, you're going to then alienate people that only want to craft, if that happened to be the case. There's kind of a delicate balance here with no perfect answer of how are we going to get knowledge just from crafting things. If that's the case, it may spawn a lot of competition for people to be fulfilling crafting orders, which will drive the commission price down. So you may end up crafting a lot of things for other people at basically material price in order to be just getting your skill points and getting your knowledge up. I haven't fully decided how I feel about it, and obviously it's not all completely done yet. A lot of this is not implemented yet, or we're getting very early versions of the graphics for the interfaces. But at a base level, this is kind of how you're going to be distinguishing yourself from other crafters. There is certainly a much greater level of detail going on here than we've seen before, and I think in a fantasy game, that's totally fine. I don't think you need to make crafting something that is instantly understandable, especially to make the very best stuff. It's pretty easy to get started and make yourself some health pots, and there's nothing wrong with that. And for a lot of people, that's going to be all they really want to do. Or maybe they just want to, pick alchemy, get specialized into file mastery. All of a sudden, their files are lasting longer, and that's all they wanted. And then they can go back about their lives. Not everybody's going to engage with the system all the way, but for people that want to, it's nice that there is that kind of extra depth in gameplay here, and people are going to be able to take their professions really far. I'm just curious as to what kind of gameplay is going to be required of them in order to get the knowledge they need to do that. I'm sort of hoping that it's largely crafting based, because a lot of people that want to craft aren't going to want to feel forced into other content. And with crafting orders and other people being able to supply soulbound items, it's possible that you can engage in all of this and progress this with just crafting. So we'll see, I think, is the takeaway here, but that is what profession specializations are looking like right now on the Dragonflight Alpha. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.